It's amazing to think that now, at the click of a button, all the information you want is readily available. You could look up anything nowadays. It's not like it used to be. All you have to do is go to the World Wide Web and connect. Now, who started the internet? That web. That spider web. Weaving spiders. So, you got to think about the Bible with this too, okay? There was a part in the Bible where the devil stood up on the mountain with Jesus and said, I will give you all of this if you just bow down to me. See, some people just don't want to come out of Egypt. They'd rather stay in bondage and behind chains. I don't get it. You know, coming out of Egypt is a great idea before it's too late. Which made me think of all the different sources of information available at our fingertips. Just like people are meant or sent to your life for a reason, the stuff that pops up on your phone, on your computer, has been directed to you for a set up reason. Now, oftentimes, just like with people, things are meant or sent. So some of the things that come up on your phone are from ads and cookies and trackers and Trojans and daemons. So, it's a lot of different stuff out there. So how do you choose to use the web? Are you caught up in it? Also, a lot of people who do their searches use Google. You realize Google is set up also by the Freemasons, right? Right? Same with the web. Them college fraternities back in the day. I won't bring up that owl, but hooty hoo, whatever. So, yes, information is readily available. And everybody thinks they're an expert nowadays because they can look something up and copy and paste and mimic it. That doesn't really make you as educated as you may think, simply because you could mimic another person's information. Claiming one's sovereignty is important. Knowledge of self, extremely important. Getting out of Egypt, definitely done. I look forward to starting my channel and being on this new network on Roku and some other things and places, but I'll talk about them once the work is done and the contracts and yada yada. I look forward to being able to shed light on things that I know, not just from book smarts, but because I lived through them myself. So I could give first-hand account information of stuff. And I really look forward to being able to share, because I think that in this day that we're in, people could choose to look at the fake entertainment and laugh and giggle and gloss over life, or you could look at the real people that are raw and coming at you direct with what they have been through and what they have learned. Their true testimonies. Just coming together and getting away from the fake web See, because there's also that Leviathan. And the Leviathan operates through the airwaves and through the oceans. I'll do a video later on that because I could go into several things. You know, though, something I found interesting, something about Egypt. See, some people love to talk about Egypt and teach about it, and that's great. But there are others, super soldiers, ones who've been part of like Operation Ibis and others, where they teach you to speak and read the tablets. So when some of these hidden factions pop up and try to teach certain things, we know that there's more out there than what we see. I just sit back and watch, see, because I can't be triggered. Just because I can see the programs doesn't mean I have to operate under them. Because I'm above, not below. So those operations gotta go. But one thing they do is they use Egyptology and symbolism and masonry and other things to communicate with other people, as well as to program other MK Ultra victims. I am not a victim. I was just a fringe person who grew up in Oak Grove, who went through a thing or 5 million. So I'm, okay, pardon the facetious tone at the end. That wasn't necessary. But because so much information is available, people often start to think of themselves as a god because they think if they obtain this higher level of learning, if they could just learn more information, or if they could just join this organization to gain this knowledge, they think that they're going to get ahead, not realizing they've been paid in full, fool, on this earth. But what about your mental dome and your soul? Because this 3D world that we're living in, if you can't tell, it's on the outs. So although we have eternal life because energy never dies, we do leave this three-dimensional world and this stupid body that we have that's really just a disguise. Because behind all that, you have your soul. And you're not just the body. We've got to remember this. You're not just your earthly experiences. You're a soul being having an earth experience. Here to learn your earth lessons. Here to do whatever assignment God has put before you. Before we return home. Just like school. I always tried to do good in school and get good grades, not so much because I loved it oh so much, but because I didn't want to have to repeat it. So if I did well and learned the first time, I wouldn't have to repeat it. Now, what do you think happens to people at life cycles? You repeat them over and over. And that's very, very common in people who are mind-controlled victims, people who are still under that mentality. Freedom. Free your dome. Wholeness. Mental health. Mental health is so important. That's how you start getting lost, when you've been through so many things, or you start behaving so outside of yourself that you forget who you are. Or worse yet, maybe you never knew who you were. There's still time. Not a lot, but there's still a little bit of time to get your stuff together. So while we're here, complete the fun things in life that you want to do. Take care of the responsibilities that you have. Live each day like it's your last, because it might be. You just never know when you'll be called home.